It'd be hard for her to ask me to wake up my mom if she's not feeling well. The bell continued to ring at regular intervals. If someone didn't answer after you rang the bell so much, you'd normally give up and go home, wouldn't you? Without removing the chain, I opened the door slightly and peered out at the visitor. Why didn't you look through? You have a peephole! Look through the peephole! A chill ran down my spine. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside, I had prepared for this moment. I had tried to escape by imagining it was the easiest person to deal with, one of my mom's friends. No, go away! Get out of here, Rena! We don't serve your kind down in these parts.
Rena.
There shouldn't be any reason for Rena to come over at this hour. The timing also made me feel uneasy, because it was just as I was about to ask Oishi-san about Rena. I wish I could have chalked this up to mere coincidence, but those unsettling words from Mion several days ago echoed back to me. Flashback.
おじさんにわからないことはないからね。
レナ一人。
We're perched outside your window listening. It seemed that Mion wasn't with her, but that didn't change the situation at all.
何しに来たんだよ。
ねえ、ケイチ君。
No,
ちゃんとドアを開けてお話
that's
し
what
した
you
いな。
want, Rena.
レ
That's
ナは
just
玄
what
関
you'd
に入っ
like.
ちゃダメなのかな。かな。
It was true that speaking through a chain door wasn't the right way to talk to a classmate. But
うち、夜は必ずチェーンかけてるんだよ。気にすんなよ。
なら、仕方ないかな。
Rena looked at the ground sadly. But she kept smiling at least, and her effort to keep that smile up was quite pitiful. Even though she was tugging at my heartstrings, I didn't lower my guard. As long as I stayed like this, even if it made my heart ache, my life wasn't in danger. What I really feared, more than the possibility that hoodlums would assault me if I removed the chain, was trusting Rena enough to remove the chain, and having my friendship betrayed. As long as the chain wasn't unlatched, even if it made my heart ache, I wouldn't have to deal with being betrayed by Rena. Since it didn't seem like I'd removed the chain from her silent urging, she appeared to give up on trying to get into the entranceway.
あのさ、ケイチ君。
I don't need any of your food. I already tried it. It was disgusting. No, I haven't eaten. Since my mom wasn't there, dinner wouldn't be ready no matter how long I waited. I laid down when I got home, was woken up by the phone, and didn't have a chance to eat since I used up all that time talking. I was going to have cup noodles in any case. I could just eat one whenever I wanted to.
いや、まだだよ。それがどうしたよ。
じゃあよかった。これ見て。
I don't know about this, Keiichi.
持ってきてあげたの。
Don't be an idiot. You already did it once. Hopefully you're smart enough this time to not do it again. Rena held out a stack of boxes wrapped in a cloth.
お台所とか貸してくれれば、お味噌汁も温めてあげられるよ。
いいよ、そこまでしてくれなくても。
でも、お豆腐もお野菜もたっぷりなの。ケイチ君、そういうの嫌いかな。
I don't eat anything but cup noodle. Sorry. There's no way I wouldn't like that. I love miso soup with lots of ingredients. White radish, carrots, burdock root and potatoes, dense and fibrous root vegetables. Yeah, that miso soup looks incredible.
ご飯も持ってきてあげたから、レンジで温めればすぐ食べられるし。
Without a doubt, rice needs miso soup. Stuffing rice down your gullet, sipping miso soup in between ravenous bites. Oh yes, how wonderful it is to be born Japanese.
それからね、またお漬物を作ってきたんだよ。今度は山菜のお漬物なの。
Pickles. Before I had moved here to Hinamizawa, I scoffed at the mountain vegetables called sansai, but I was captivated by their charm the first time I tried them. Such a deep, yet light flavor. Those so-called supermarket vegetables taste rough and overpowering in comparison. If you had to describe them, then they were the vegetables for the uninitiated. To become an expert such as myself, you first had to partake of sansai. It was common knowledge around here that the Ryugu family's traditional pickles were wonderfully delicious. No matter what kind of pickles they were. They'd go so well with that fluffy right rice.
それからね、それからね。
A serving of death. But wait, there's more! For only $19.99! So delicious. It just seemed so delicious. Farewell to my unhealthy self who said he'd make do with cup noodles. Rena appeared to be in good spirits, and she was offering such a delicious-sounding dinner. The stress evaporated from my gut, and hunger reared its voracious head. At the same time, my wariness of Rena suddenly dwindled. Rena did say she was alone. It shouldn't be a problem letting her inside. Oh, you idiot! Keiichi, my bar! Though the possibility that it was laced with poison still hadn't been ruled out. At that moment, a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then. But the voice inside me was sounding the alarm. Oh, thank goodness. The idiot lives yet another night. This happy Rena speaking of this charming dinner was dependent on one premise. And that premise was that tonight, dinner hadn't been made at my house. See, I was thinking about that, and I didn't say anything. I was going to bring it up, but the game brought it up for me. That I'm pretty sure this is a clear indication that she knows that his mom isn't there. And the funny thing is, you know, other than the needle, they haven't really, legitimately tried to attack him. And I'm kind of leaning more towards the idea that the needle wasn't even really something meant to actually kill him or hurt him. It was meant to be a threat, just like everything else. You know, they say, oh, what did you eat out there with that old man? You know, did you eat all the mochi? All this stuff. These are all threats. But they're not just threats as in like, you better not do anything or we'll kill you. Threats. These are, we know exactly what's going on with you, Keiichi. We've seen everything you've done, and including in this situation, we know your mom isn't here and that you're here alone. Like, they're very strong threats, specifically oriented to his particular situations. It's rather terrifying if you think about it. Meaning it was under the assumption that my mom, who should be making it, wasn't here. At any normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. The fact that she brought over all the makings of a meal at this time was inherently strange. Unless she knew. Rena, did she know that my parents weren't home? But there was also the chance that this was a bluff. I had turned on the lights and a bunch of other stuff to make it seem like my parents were here. There was a chance that Rena was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper. There were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. It was hard to say that Rena didn't have a chance to determine if my parents were here or not. But there was no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to that fact as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as I didn't take it off, Rena wouldn't be able to do anything to me.
Ah, ありがたいんだけどさ、もう少しで夕飯ができるみたいなんだよ。
そうなの？そうなの？
せっかくで申し訳ないんだけどさ、
Unable to think of a good way to refuse, my words trailed off weakly.
でも、ちょっとはおかずになると思うな。
悪いけど、間に合ってるよ。
We don't want any of your
うちのお
food.
袋ってさ、結構おかずをいっぱい作るんだよ。だから。
She's gonna be jealous of your miso soup being better than hers. And we can't have that at my house.
おかず
I know, who would have guessed? With a smile that bordered on a cringe, I dodged her questions apologetically. But the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, but it didn't mesh well with what Rina was saying. Rina was talking as if she was aware of some obvious fact. And that, I was aware of it as well.
ケイチ君もおかずとか作れるんだね。
Oh, yeah, she knows for sure.
何を作ったのかな。
いや、別に俺が。
Rina had assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. No, not so much that I'd made them, but rather that my mom hadn't.
本当に作ったの？おかず。
Stop interrogating me about my side dishes!
だから、俺が作ったんじゃな
Now
い
get
の。
off my lawn!
お袋が作った。いや、作ってるんだよ。今。だからさ、悪いけど、レナの持ってきてくれたのは食べられないんだよ。
I've got the sinking feeling that Keiichi missed like one key clue somewhere that, without a doubt for sure, shows that his parents aren't home. Because it seems like something he might do. Like it could happen. Rina felt silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt that the light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes.
ケイチ君のお夕飯当ててみようか。
Oh, no, you wouldn't be able to guess. It's from America.
なんだっていい
Foreign
じゃない
food.
か。
ね。
No. What if she says cup noodles? The conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rina is firmly in control. It felt like I was being interrogated.
そのお夕飯お湯だけで作れるんじゃないかな。
Excellent.
おいおい、侮るなよ。うちのお袋のスペシャルなディナーを見くびるなってんだ。
Special dinner.
そりゃもう、満願全席状態で、すごいのなんの。
Keiichi, come and eat. I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grit my teeth quite right. So instead, I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. But Rina showed no reaction whatsoever, even to that silliness.
ケイチ君、本当にお母さん、ご飯作って
Oh
って
yeah,
くれた
so
の？
much, man. It's I can barely eat it all.
いや、だから、くれたんじゃなくて、今作ってるんだよ。もうすぐ晩飯に。
Rina had taken that assertion of mine, that my mother was home and making dinner right now, and was completely ignoring it. I could tell that the more I panicked, the colder Rina became.
ねえ、ケイチ君。
Why do you start off your creepy sentences like this? Hey, Keiichi-kun. At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in from the gap in the doorway.
お母さん、お家にいるのかな。
Sorry, I gotta go eat dinner. I'm letting in all the cold night air. Bye.
か
I couldn't keep up with this charade anymore. Rina, she knew full well that my parents weren't home. But I'd come too far to admit that now. Anyway, my parents were here and we'd be having dinner soon. That was the situation I had concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here.
いるよ。もちろん。
Why would my mom not be here? Then why is her dead body on the front lawn? I could feel the humidity drying out from the surrounding air. Rina's eyes were becoming even more frigid, piercing me with their gelid glare. That's a new word.
どうして？
何のことかな。
Liar! I tried acting casual, but that facade was torn off from me the instant I looked into Rina's eyes. That look, it informed me of Rina's response faster than she could open her mouth.
どうしてさっきから嘘をつくのかな。
Oh, I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't prepare myself. I gotta go eat dinner, Rina. See you later.
嘘なんか。
嘘だよね。
嘘なんかじゃ。
嘘だよ。
Really do like that, don't you? Rinna's outburst sent a jolt surging through my body. Rinna and I were still separated by what few inches that slightly ajar but still chained door could afford. But despite that, I was still being cornered. My house, which I considered a safe haven until now, had become more like a dark alleyway where no one could save me.
ケイチ君のお夕飯当てるよ。ね。
I knew now that Rinna had already known that my parents would not be here tonight. But it was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew that my parents weren't home, there was no way she should be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rinna said she'd guess. How could she guess it? How could she know it was
カ
instant
ップラーメン
cup noodles?
当たりでしょ。
I kind of wonder if they, maybe have like a wiretap on their house or something. It would explain why they knew all the phone conversations anyway. And it would, of course, explain, why she knew why his parents weren't there. That I was going to eat? Wait. The cooking repertoire of a man who can't do housework is probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. That didn't mean she was guessing.
ラーメンだけじゃ
Oh no.
きっとお腹すくと思う
Oh, is she gonna mention like the type of noodles too?
ご飯とかも一緒の方がきっと腹持ちいいと
Oh
思う
no, don't worry. Those cup noodles, man, I'd eat one and I'm done. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. This was just a coincidence. Rinna was just reading certain tells of mine. So the fact that she was inferring what I was thinking alarmed me. But it wasn't as if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, then she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that. They couldn't possibly exist.
好きなの。
ラーメンがかよ。
豚骨生姜味。
I'm sorry? What was that? You clearly said something that I don't understand. Rinna indicated that the point my answer was addressing was wrong. Her rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rinna had spoken.
ごめん、レナ。今、なんて。
え？何が？
今さ、何が好きって聞いたんだよ。
It wasn't long before I regretted how carelessly I'd pushed forward with that question. It was such a simple answer. That's why I wasn't able to comprehend it.
豚骨生姜味。
I'm almost certain that they have to have a wiretap on his house. They either have to have a wiretap. Okay, a couple options. Wiretap could potentially be like literally like stuck to the windows, outside the house, like one of her favorite characters from another visual novel, or maybe a possibility they somehow are trailing, or they have somebody trailing Keiichi's parents somehow. That'd be my idea. I wondered how I appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank, until the moment I was able to recover. As my field of view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance.
なんでそこまでわかるんだよ。
I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rinna know even this? Not even caring as I mashed my head against the door, I fixated my gaze on Rinna. But she didn't even flinch when she saw me do that.
確かに勝った。まとめて勝った。俺が箱買いした。それがどうしてわかるんだ。
なんでかな。不思議だね。だね。
How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain and the door suddenly were no longer protecting me.
どうしてわかる？なぜ知ってる？答えろ！
買ったのはセブンスマート。だよね。
A shiver ran up my spine. I tried covering it up with an angry facade.
だから、なんでわかるんだよ
Because I trail you everywhere,
ケイチ
Keiichi.
君の後ろずっとくっついてたから。
So maybe not even a wiretap so much as possibly she is just sitting outside. I wonder how she made that food, though, if she was doing that the whole time. I wonder.
何を言ってんだよ
I couldn't understand why she was saying she'd been following me all this time.
だからレナがケイチ君の後ろにずっとくっついてたの。
Like that night? That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there. Standing behind the door, behind me, standing there. Just like that?
ケイチ君がいろんなラーメン選んでるとこ後ろからずっと見てたの。いろんな種類を選んでたんだよね。
She's a secret shopper. She's trying to figure out shopping trends of young males.
それでお母さんに怒られたの。高いラーメンばっかり選ぶから一種類にしなさいって。それでケイチ君大好きな大きいカップの豚骨生姜味を選んだんだよね。レナも好きだよ。豚骨ラーメン。でも大きいカップは全部食べきれないけどね。
My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. It might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then, I could understand what Rena was saying and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards. And as I withdrew, Rena advanced. How?
だからケイチ
You
君、
can't advance, there's a door in your way.
ここを開けて。
No, you know
レ
enough.
ナと一緒に
It's
ご飯食
okay.
べよう。
I'm okay, I don't need any
きっ
company.
と美味しいから。ね。
Oh! you know, I wouldn't have even have guessed that would have been creepier, but here we are. I forget, can I do this? Hold on. Well, that kind of does it. Where's your mouth? Oh, there's your mouth. Okay, I can see it. Sorry, I saw her nose and that looked like a mouth. Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack in the door one at a time, as if they had a mind of their own, rattling the chain. If she had unlatched the chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. I don't know how secure this door is. This kind of looks like you could almost open it from the outside now that I'm looking at it. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. I tried my hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart. Trying again and again. Clatter. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light.
開けて、ケイチ君。
帰ってくれ
That's what I... Please.
頼むから帰ってくれ
どうしてそんな意地悪を言うのかな。
帰ってくれ帰れよ帰れ
I'll poke you with my bat skills. The powder keg inside me finally went off. No smoldering, it just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet firmly, and pulled with all my might. But that slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing. And the source of that was Rena's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggling, squirming around like the tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway.
痛いよ、ケイチ君。
I don't know about this. Oh, I don't do well with scary games. It wasn't a harsh shriek, but more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. I kept on pulling on the door with all my might. I didn't even realize that if I didn't loosen my pull on the door at least momentarily, Rena wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out, and that was why the door wasn't closing.
本当に痛いの、ケイチ君。悪ふざけが過ぎたなら謝るよ。
I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. It didn't change anything.
痛いの。痛いの。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Rena couldn't leave even if she wanted to because I trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had... Oh, no. Oh. I was warned by some people against playing this game. For, like, these kind of reasons. Rena's white fingers had become deep red and were no longer even squirming.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away, go away, go away, stop it! I pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip out from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. It made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ケイチ君、ごめんなさい。ここを開けて。ケイチ君。
Rena leaned up against the door, apologizing profusely, and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entryway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena's echoing her apology. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Those pitiful words, they would be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't even feel bad about this at all. But that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I just felt a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before, Miana threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now, at the same place, Rena told me the same thing. My feeble attempts to disguise the fact my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should have just pretended to be out, and not even opened the door. My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. 1 step, 2 steps. With each one, her sniveling apologies became more distant. I sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As you would expect, I was finally no longer able to hear Rena repeating her endless apology. Diving into my bed, I was startled by the hard lump I felt. There was something in my bed? Ah! Oh. Hi, Oshi-san. Oshi-san. It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call with Oishi-san. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I had talked with Rena for so long. How did almost no time pass? But the hand on the clock was ticking forward 1 second, every second as usual. As I put the stillworm receiver to my ear, time, which felt frozen, began moving once again.